So it's been almost 2 years since both the Xbox Series X and PS5 have come out, and we've had a few next-gen bangers along the way. But the question is, how do these consoles actually stack up against each other? Let's start with what both consoles are capable of, specs-wise. The PS5 appears to lose out against the Xbox Series X. Both have 8-core CPUs from AMD, but the Xboxes are clocked at 3.8 GHz, while the PS5s are 3.5 GHz. Both consoles also use AMD graphics processors, with the Xboxes providing 12 teraflops of power to the PS5's 10.28 teraflops. The PS5 and Xbox Series X also use SSDs, solid-state drives, rather than mechanical hard disk drives, with Microsoft offering a terabyte of storage to the PS5's 825 gigabytes. But the way Sony has designed and integrated the PS5 storage makes it so fast, more than twice as fast as that of the Series X in fact, that it essentially boosts overall console performance. But neither console used that power to deliver 8K, despite both companies talking about 8K prior to launch. 8K is simply not an option in any of the menus. So instead, in both cases, 4K at 60 Hz is the performance target, sometimes even at 120 Hz with some graphical features like ray tracing, depending on the game. Out of all the graphical features, I would say ray tracing is probably the most significant. This new to console technology massively improves lighting, shadows, and reflections, and has the potential to transform almost everything you see on screen, making games look vastly more realistic. Both consoles support it. PC users are probably thinking, damn Sony and Microsoft, like, you took your sweet time, to deliver these features, but hey, better late than never, right? At least it's there. And both consoles aren't as expensive as high-end PCs with ray tracing capabilities. You can get the Xbox Series X for about $450. PS5, the digital edition, goes for around $350 to $400, which is significantly less than a high-end PC, which will probably can cost you upwards of $2,000 to $3,000. Some games allow you to choose between prioritizing presentation or performance, which often boils down to a choice between ray tracing or higher frame rates. It's worth pointing out though, that 120 frames per second gaming is only available if your TV supports 4K at 120 Hz signals, and very few currently do. To take full advantage of next-gen gaming, I would strongly recommend that you go for either an OLED TV or gaming monitor that supports signals up to 4K at 120 Hz. You'll thank me later. Auto low latency mode and variable refresh rate are becoming more common on TVs, and the latter in particular really benefits gaming. VRR allows your screen to adjust how often it refreshes the image to match the frame rate from your console or PC. This is the reason that it's only gaming that demands variable refresh rates. So ultimately in action, there's very little to choose between the two consoles when it comes to gaming performance. Play the same game on both consoles and graphic fidelity and performance are near identical, and they both load titles in the blink of an eye. So I would imagine in the years to come, when true next-gen games start coming out on both the Xbox Series X and the PS5, that's when we may start to see some differences, in graphical fidelity. But at the moment, with a lot of new games coming out on both the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, the same thing with the Xbox Series X and S, and even on the Xbox One, performance-wise, from a gaming perspective, both consoles are definitely neck and neck. It's super hard to tell the difference. The Xbox Series X supports Dolby Atmos for gaming, streaming, and Blu-rays, while it's only available for Blu-rays via the PS5. The PS5 counters with its own bespoke 3D audio processing called Tempest. This is available via headphones and TV speakers and works as a treat. Dolby Vision has also started to make its way onto Xbox consoles, and nearly 100 titles now support FPS Boost, a feature which makes previous gen console games look better on the Xbox Series X and S. Overall, on a daily basis, I honestly don't notice the difference in performance and graphical fidelity between both the Xbox Series X and PS5. I think next-gen games look stunning on both consoles, but let's have a look at the design of both consoles. The PS5 is a towering machine and the biggest console Sony has ever made. The console can be laid horizontal or vertical, but depending on your entertainment setup, you may struggle to fit it due to the console's sheer size. In my opinion, it looks very sci-fi and is quite a bold design choice from Sony. The PS5 has two faceplates protecting the main console unit sandwiched between them. So Sony does sell alternative faceplates, if you're not really feeling the white colorway, but personally I think it looks really clean. But I must admit that I have been eyeing those black faceplates. I think they look really great. I know it took a while for Sony to bring out faceplates, but I think they dropped it in blue, in pink, and I think in like this turquoise color as well. But for me, I think black looks the best. But if you are interested in getting some faceplates for your PS5, make sure you check the link in my description. You can just check out the variety of colors from Amazon. I own the digital edition of the console, which doesn't have a disc drive, so it's slightly thinner than the disc version, but it's just as tall. The Xbox Series X, on the other hand, has gone in a completely opposite direction when it comes to design. I think it looks more akin to a gaming PC thanks to its cuboid shape. But no matter how you feel about the size and shape of each console, both stay cool and quiet in operation. So luckily you have the choice to either lie your Xbox Series X flat or stand it on its end. So you have a bit of control over how you align your Xbox Series X, with your TV setup. I think more control than the PS5 because the PS5 is definitely a lot bigger than the Xbox Series X when you just compare the two together. The Xbox Series X is more home entertainment friendly when you're looking at it from a size perspective anyway. Overall, I would say I love the look of both consoles, but in a home entertainment space, I think the Xbox Series X is way more practical than the PS5. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Sony do with the PS5 Slim. Another area where the Xbox Series X plays it safe, it's in its controllers. The Xbox Series X controller is nearly identical to the Xbox One model with textured grips and shoulder buttons, an improved D-pad and a new share button in the center. However, I think the most disappointing feature with this controller is the fact that it runs AA batteries instead of a more up-to-date built-in rechargeable battery. Despite this, I think that the battery life on the Series X controllers is so bloody good, but the AA batteries is still a bit disappointing. Xbox. The PS5 DualSense, on the other hand, is a lot different to the DualShock 4 with a two-tone color scheme and much bigger grips. It offers much more player-facing technology while it also offers Bluetooth connectivity. The headline addition is haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. This technology built into the game's triggers and body allows players to feel in-game actions like pulling back the string of a bow or driving through different terrains. So I think this is extremely impressive, and the sensations that you can get from it can help create more immersion in the games that you play. It does make the whole experience of playing games now feel so much more immersive than ever before. In addition, the DualSense has its own built-in microphone, so you can use this to talk to your friends online without the use of a headset. So one drawback that I've discovered with the DualSense, despite all these amazing, next-gen features, is that its battery life in comparison to the Xbox Series X isn't that good at all. Overall, I would say that the PS5 controller definitely clinches the title for the best next-gen gaming controller. I definitely feel more immersed in games that support the feature, but I'm aware that some people may find it really annoying and prefer the Series X controller instead. When it comes to games, I do not intend to start any kind of console war between the PlayStation and the Xbox, but I have realized that games and exclusivity have pretty much been the core when it comes to this PlayStation versus Xbox debate. I would say at the moment, PlayStation definitely has better exclusive games than the Xbox Series X. I don't think that's a debate at the moment, but will that change in the future? Probably, because at the end of the day, it will mean we'll get better games as a consumer. However, it seems like Microsoft are keen to change the narrative with their recent acquisition of Activision Blizzard of $68.7 billion. The acquisition includes iconic franchises like World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, in the future, but things are looking bright. Things are looking really bright for Xbox. At this point in time, Xbox owners can look forward to Fable, Redfall, and the highly anticipated Starfield. I've really enjoyed using Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I still think it's pretty much the best deal in gaming just because of the amount of titles that is available to the player. And I'm talking not only current Xbox Series X titles and S titles, but original Xbox titles as well. Plenty to choose from. As for the PS5, since launch, gamers have been treated to Ratchet & Clank: Rift Apart, Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and I'm sure many can't wait to get their hands on God of War Ragnarok, the sequel of the critically acclaimed reboot God of War back in 2018. But the game that's kept me most occupied is Call of Duty because I love playing with my mates. I've been playing Cold War for almost 2 years and can't wait to get Modern Warfare 2 when it drops at the end of October. So Sony have created their own version of Game Pass, offering gamers a large library of classic PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games, including some critically acclaimed PlayStation 4 titles as well, but it really depends on what tier you go for. The tiers are split into Essential, Extra, and Premium. Personally, I went for the Extra tier. Currently, they have the whole Assassin's Creed saga on there as well. They've also got Stray on there, so I found there's some games that I would be interested in playing, even Ghost of Tsushima. They have the PS5 version, or the PS5 update on there as well. Personally, I'm not interested in playing PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 classics on my PlayStation 5, like that's not the reason why I bought my PS5. The reason I bought my PS5 is to play next-gen games, right? To experience games at 4K 120 Hz, the best graphics possible that the industry has to offer. I think in terms of value proposition, Xbox Game Pass, I think is just better. Just because of the amount of titles they have. With the PlayStation tiers, like the games that they have to offer, there's a lot of crap. I'll be honest with you guys, there is a lot of crap. But it depends on your backlog of games, right? If you're somebody that's just always up to date, you've completed most of the games. Like I have a massive backlog. I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know I'm slacking. There's a few others. Stray I've not played. It's a cat game, but it looks interesting, to be honest with you. If you have a massive backlog, it's a good buy. Is it worth it? I'm not really sure. But Xbox Game Pass, 100%. 100%. It's just obviously, again, issue I have is quality as well, the quality of games on Xbox Game Pass. But there are some Xbox bangers, especially like their old titles. Quantum Break, I think that game is fucking awesome. Really cool. Blinks, like that's an OG Xbox title too. Yeah, so overall I would say Xbox has the edge because in my opinion there are more quality games on offer than on PlayStation Plus. Both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X cost $500 a piece. The digital version of the PS5 comes in at $399 and the Xbox Series S at $300. Microsoft's digital console is weaker than it offers. It focuses on 1440p resolution and instead of 4K targets 60/120 frames per second. With the PS5 digital edition, however, it's exactly the same specs as the standard edition minus that physical disc tray. So if you're on a budget and you want to enjoy next-gen gaming, then the Xbox Series X is probably your best bang for your buck. Otherwise, it will come down to your loyalty to one console brand or the other and their services, plus each company's commitment to respect and the library of games you've already built up with them. So unfortunately, this console generation doesn't unlock gaming in a new resolution, and neither does it bring with it a plethora of new games that can only be played on these systems. This leaves both the PS5 and Xbox Series X to justify their next-gen credentials in other ways. And I think that the PlayStation 5 does that more effectively than the Xbox Series X. The moment you turn the PS5 on, it dazzles you with its flashy new user interface, delivered in native 4K and HDR. It comes bundled with a new controller that boasts genuinely game-changing haptics. It's got a bespoke new 3D audio engine that can be tapped into by anyone regardless of budget and space. And it comes bundled with an exclusive new game that perfectly introduces you to all of these new features. Yeah, so on the other hand, my experience with the Xbox Series X has felt too similar. At every stage, the console seems determined to convince you that it's just like the Xbox One. That's likely a result of the company seeing Xbox as a platform designed to work across a lot of different hardware, including PCs, but it feels like a misstep here. So if you just forked out $499, you'd want your next-gen experience to feel, sparkly, fresh, pretty much wow you, right? Because you spent quite a bit of money. But this doesn't mean that the Xbox Series X is a bad console. It's not at all. So it delivers on its performance targets, it's near silent at almost all times, it's decidedly compact next to the PS5, and its controller has had some neat little tweaks. In my opinion, it just doesn't go quite far enough, particularly in comparison to the PS5. So this has been my ultimate comparison of both consoles, and I hope that it's helped you guys pick which console you want out of the two. Consider subscribing to the channel and click on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Check out my PS5 review and I'll see you there.